Hello, this is Nancy. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to continue the planner notebook pad folio that I started last Wednesday. And on the screen you're going to have the sizes of the chipboard you're going to need. And I'm using the Dollar Tree Notepad, which is 5 by 8. So cut your chipboard accordingly to the pad that you have. If it's a taller pad, cut it a little bit longer. I like my pads to be even on top and bottom, so if you want a little wiggle room, you can add 1/8 of an inch to it. It's all how you want and you don't need to use chipboard. You can use cereal boxes, and you could glue 2 pieces together to get that not dark, but thick piece of cardboard for this. But you don't need a thick piece of cardboard either. It's all up to you. I like it nice and sturdy. And I'm using double-sided tape to adhere the scrapbook paper to the chipboard, but you can also use glue, but don't use too much because you don't want to have your paper wrinkle up on you. So that's why I use double-sided tape. So once I remove all the backing on the double-sided tape, I'm adding the chipboard to the scrapbook paper. And when you get to the next piece, you add enough room, the width of the chipboard that you're using, in between the pieces, so that way when you fold it, it doesn't give you resistance. There we go. I found the word. And I'm using here 2 different types of scrapbook paper, because sometimes you don't have 2 pieces of the same scrapbook paper. So just use some coordinating scrapbook paper, and try to do the seam towards the back of the book, so that way it looks like it was on purpose. So here I'm going to be checking to see which side of the paper I want. I'm flipping the main cover and seeing, let's try using that side. So you can use as many pieces of paper in the back. You could probably make your own scrapbook paper and do strips and tape them together and add them to the chipboard. So there's a lot of possibilities. Now once all your chipboard is placed down, you're going to go miter the corners of the scrapbook paper. That way you have less bulk when you fold the edges. And on the rounded edges, I'm just going to snip a few pieces, so when I fold it over, it'll bend to that curve a little bit easier. I'll leave a link to the live that I did with the first folio, so to show you how I did this a little more in detail. For the flaps here, I'm using my art glitter glue, but you could also use double-sided tape if that's your preference, because here you won't see it as much because you're going to have a liner. So if it does buckle a little bit, you can't tell. But I think that with the art glitter glue, it's pretty nice and strong and quick. Don't do what I did and forget to put the magnets under the front cover like I did the first time. So before you put on the scrapbook paper, add your magnets on the flap and on the front. So since I didn't do that, so the magnets are going to be exposed a little here, but since it's closed, it really doesn't matter. I'm just measuring to make sure that they're all even, and I'm using some super glue to glue the magnets down to make sure that they're nice and stuck on there real good. Now once the inside magnets are in place, I'm going to cut the liner piece just a tad bit shorter than the outside of it. So I think it's like 7 3/4 or 7 and, you know, just a little shy of it. And again, I'm using double-sided tape, and I also add extra double-sided tape along the spines of it, so I want the paper to be nice and snug up against the chipboard. So we're going to do that throughout this whole sheet here. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends. What other kind of paper crafting would you like to see from my channel? Just leave that in the comments below. And thanks for watching. I'm adding a little bit of art glitter glue around the magnet, so when I push the paper down, it makes a nice snug fit around the magnet. You don't have to worry that the liner piece doesn't go all the way to the edge here, because we're going to be covering that with some more paper. So that way you're not wasting paper, because that's going to be covered. Now I place the magnets that are going to go on the cover onto the flap here, and again I'm adding some super glue on there because I want them to stay on there. I don't want them to pop off anytime when you're opening and closing the little notebook. And I stand it up and make sure that everything's lined up and squared before I press down on that. It didn't adhere real quick, so but it does leave the residue of the super glue. So what I did was pop the little magnet off on the side. They're pretty strong magnets, and I just put it over the glue that was left over on the flap. If you don't want to make this reusable, you can easily just glue the notepad to the folio here. But I wanted to be able to use it over and over, and these little notepads are small, so you're going to be going through them real quick. So I get another piece of scrapbook paper, and I cut it down to 3 inches wide. You can make it as wide as you want. I did mine at 3 inches, and whatever the scrap paper was left. You don't have to completely cover the back of the notebook, just enough to make a little sleeve. So just even it out and then fold it over, and then we're going to put some glue and then glue it to the folio. I'm using my art glitter glue, but again, you can use double-sided tape or any adhesive that you would like. And I'm just going to line it up to the flap, opening flap, because I want the pen on the inside of the folio. So I want to keep the extra space in between the spine and the notepad. Then I slide it out and just press it down a bit, make sure that it's all nice and adhered. Again, we're going to make another sleeve for the planner portion of the folio. And again, I cut this one to 4 because it's a little wider the way it's situated in the folio. And I fold the flaps back as well. Like I said, you don't need a full sheet of paper to cover the whole thing, just enough to make a little sleeve. And again, I use my art glitter glue and adhere it. And again, I'm going to the edge of the folio and center this because this is a little shorter than the folio itself. But if you want it towards the bottom or the top, it's all up to you. The planner that I'm using here is actually for the first folio I made. After I recorded this video, I went back to Dollar Tree and got another calendar and covered it with coordinating scrapbook to match this coffee themed folio. Now to make a pen loop for the inside of the notebook, depending on the pen you're using, I cut a strip that's about 3 inches wide, and then I fold over a flap about 1/2 inch, and I glue it under, because you don't want the pen to get stuck in it. So I'm just wrapping it up. I think it's, but yeah, 1/2 inch. And then I glue that down to the outside of the pen. Make sure the pen is still in there when you're sliding it in. That way you know exactly where to put the pen. So I glitter glue again to the rescue. Not rescue because there's no problem here. So I added the pen. Make sure that it's where I want it to do. That way it fits nice and centered in the notebook. Press it down. Make sure that it's not on the score line where you fold the notebook, because you don't want it to impede the closing of the notebook. Again, put the pen in, and now we're going to squeeze the pen in tight so you don't want it to fly out when you're carrying the notebook around. So again, I folded that section up, add some art glitter glue, and I'm going to insert the pen again to make sure that once I put the flap in, that the pen is not too tight or not too loose into this little pen loop. And you can make your pen loop longer or shorter depending on your preference again. I just cut a random piece of paper here, one of the scraps. See, I put the pen in and just press it in, and it goes under the sleeve of the planner there. Now that we have the notebook and the planner inside, it's time to decorate. You can leave it like this, or you can decorate I'm using all, like I said, the scraps that were left from the paper pack, some cut aparts, stickers that came with the paper pack. So this part is, leave it as plain as you want or make it as elaborate as you want. It's all up to you. So enjoy me decorating. If you haven't already, go follow me on Instagram, where I post behind the scenes and extra stuff that I don't show here, and also on my community tab I show some final projects there as well. And just check it out. And until next time, be brave, be strong, and create with some paper.